So Exile One. Let's go to Exile One a little bit. So as you can see right here, the band was influential in the development of Caribbean music. A lot of people don't really know about this band because they came out in the 70s. That's a long time ago. They were based in the French Overseas Department of Guadeloupe, but the band members were from Dominica, and they have been extremely influential as far as modern Creole music is concerned. So Gordon Henderson, according to this, he went to the French Overseas Department of Guadeloupe to start a career in Creole music. From there, he met with the Vikings of Guadeloupe, of which Kassav. So by the way, Kassav is the creator of Zouk music. Like, they're the pioneers. You probably don't know about Zouk music, but Zouk music was extremely popular back in the 80s. So Kassav is the one that created Zouk music pretty much. So he went to Guadeloupe. He became part of the Vikings, which kind of like later became Kassav, or at least like the guy who created Kassav was part of that group. Then he later branched off and created Kassav after that. But anyhow, I'm here to talk about Exile One and Gordon Henderson for a little bit. He created this genre called Cadence-Lypso, where he combined cadence and calypso, which is why you have the name Cadence-Lypso. And that later had an influence on the evolution of a certain style of soca music. So let's click onto soca music. Soca music is the type of music from Trinidad. When it was created by Ras Shorty I, where he decided to revitalize calypso by combining calypso with elements of East Indian music, because Trinidad is like heavily populated by Indians, though they also have a really large African or Afro-Caribbean population. But anyway, that's how soca music started. But then that guy went to Dominica, as you can see in the bottom. He did a trip to Dominica. He stopped in Dominica, and from there he encountered Exile One. They were performing at the Fort Young Hotel, and Shorty was inspired to compose and record a song, a soca and Cadence-Lypso fusion track titled Epitit or Upitit, which is like a French Creole name, which was the first in that particular soca style. Shorty consulted on the Creole lyrics he used in the chorus of Epitit with Dominica's 1969 Calypso King, Lord Tokyo, and two Creole lyricists, Chris Seraphin and Pat Aaron. So like this lyricist from Dominica wrote the song for him, and he decided to combine, he decided to do kind of like a soca and Cadence-Lypso fusion. And that was the first in that particular style of soca. So even if soca did not originate directly from Cadence-Lypso, that particular style of Cadence-Lypso inspired a certain style of soca music. This is why soca sounds so familiar to Dominica music. But anyway, that's the history of soca right here. It's way more extensive than this, but I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to go back to the first topic, which is Exile One. So Exile One created Cadence-Lypso. So let's click onto Cadence-Lypso real quick. Cadence-Lypso is a fusion of, let's go all the way down. Origin. So the most influential figure in the development of Cadence-Lypso was the Dominican group Exile One, They were based on the island of Guadeloupe, that combined calypso music from the Eastern-speaking Caribbean with the Cadence-Lypso of Haiti, with influences of Dominican traditional music. So let's talk a little bit about calypso, because we're going back to Trinidad. This is calypso music right here. So calypso back in the days, right, was the most popular form of Afro-Caribbean music. Then after that came ska and reggae, and they became the most popular, and even soca. But calypso back in the days was really popular, and it's responsible for a lot of other subgenres as well. But let's speak about Trinidad and Tobago for a little bit. Trinidad and Tobago. Let's go right here. This is Trinidad. Right next to South America, right next to Venezuela. There's a part on here where it speaks about an influx of French settlers to Trinidad and the cedula of population. Let's read this a little bit. So Trinidad was perfect due to its geographical location. French planters and the slaves, free persons of color and mulattoes from neighboring islands of Grenada, Martinique, Guadeloupe, and Dominica migrated to Trinidad during the French Revolution. The Spanish also gave many incentives to lure settlers to the island, including exemptions from taxes for 10 years and land grants for the terms set out in the cedula. The new immigrants established local communities. I can't really pronounce these communities, but there's a bunch on here. And Trinidad's population jumped from just under 1,400 in 1777 to over 15,000 by the end of 1789. So these settlers actually started developing Trinidad into like a developed country. Like they're the ones who started doing that. They also brought the tradition of carnival to Trinidad as well. Let's go to Trinidad's carnival. So we're gonna go back to Trinidad's main page, and let's go to culture. Let's go to culture of Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to see if there's a section that speaks about music. All right, so music right here. So music of Trinidad. Trinidad is best known for its calypso music, soca music, chutney, and steel pan. Let's go all the way down. The history of Trinidad. I spoke about the cedula of population of 1783, laid the foundation and growth of the population of Trinidad. So, like the French settlers that came from the French Antilles of Martinique, Guadeloupe, Grenada, and Dominica, like they're the ones who started the foundation and growth of the population of Trinidad, and they established numerous communities in Trinidad as well. And they had a major influence in the culture of Trinidad as far as music is concerned. Carnival had arrived with the French. Indentured laborers and slaves who could not take part in Carnival formed their own parallel celebration called Canboulay. So let's go to this page real quick. Canboulay is the precursor of Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. The festival is also where calypso music has its roots. So as you can see, this name Canboulay in itself is a French Creole term meaning burnt cane. So all this was inspired by a French Creole culture that was brought to Trinidad back in the days. And that's where calypso music has its roots. That, Canboulay is also the precursor of Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. And there was a riot back in the days called Canboulay Riot that happened in 1881 and 1884 that banned the use of African percussion instruments. And as a result, that led to the creation of steel pan music. So it's right here, I'm just going off facts, this gave a birth to steel pan music. So, so as you can see, Trinidad has been influenced by the same French Creole culture that came from the islands of Guadeloupe, Martinique, Dominica, and all that, etc. All right, so let's go back to calypso music. So calypso's rhythm can be traced back to the West African Calypso and the arrival of French planters and their slaves from the French Antilles. Historically, most of the songs were in French Creole, and it was led by a griot. As Calypso developed, the role of the griot became known as the chanteur, which is a French name for singer, and eventually Calypsonian. So back in the days, Calypso songs were mostly in French Creole because Trinidad was heavily populated by a French and French Creole migration from the French Antilles. So this is what that is. As Trinidad became a British colony, I guess the French Creole kind of faded off and English became the main language, but still there's still a strong influence of French Creole culture in Trinidad. And Calypso music has played a really major role in Trinidad's music. It's probably like the basis of all forms of Trinidad music, actually. And back in the days, it was extremely popular. It had an influence on mento from Jamaica. Mento, I'm just going off Wikipedia. Mento is a style of Jamaican folk music that predates and has greatly influenced ska and reggae music. So we all know about ska and reggae. Let's click ska music real quick. As you can see, ska music combines elements of Caribbean mento and calypso with American jazz and rhythm and blues, so R&B. So that's how ska music was created. But all that goes back to calypso. And this is the same calypso that had an influence on Cadence-Lypso from Dominica. So cadence is actually the French Creole word for cadence. So cadence is like the beat of movement, like matching, like boom, 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 boom. And this is literally what soca music is. Like if you listen to the beat of soca, it's literally a boom, boom, boom. So Dominicans started doing that way before soca was created, and that also had an impact on soca music. Cadence-Lypso, or even want to say it's in English, Cadence-Lypso, is a fusion of cadence rumba from Haiti and calypso from Trinidad. It was created by Exile One, led by Gordon Henderson, and they were based in the island of Guadeloupe, which is right next to Dominica. It's like north of Dominica. But anyway, I spoke about calypso for a little bit. Let's speak about cadence rumba, and also we're gonna go back to calypso music and soca and Dominica music and why it sounds so much alike. Let's go to Haiti now, since Cadence-Lypso is a fusion of calypso and also cadence rumba from Haiti. So we're gonna click cadence rumba. So this is cadence rumba right here. It is a dance music and modern merengue popularized in the Caribbean by Haitian sax player Wibet Sicot. So a little bit about Wibet Sicot, like he's the one who named that type of music. But prior to naming that type of music, he was part of So let's speak about Wibet Sicot like real quick. So we're gonna click onto this guy right here. He's recognized as one of the creators of compa music, also known as compa direct, a style of Haitian music born in the 1950s that he named after he left Nemu's band to differentiate himself in 1962 in the spirit of competition. So this was mainly competition. He named his music cadence rumba, but in reality he was playing compa music. He just named it cadence rumba to differentiate it from Nemu, because so by the way, Nemu is the guy who created compa music, and Wibet Sicot and Nemu Jean-Baptiste was part of a group called Conjunto International, according to this right here. But he wanted to compete with Nemu Jean-Baptiste, so he left that group and created his own band. and he named his music Cadence-Lypso, but in reality, both of this type of music is a type of merengue. It's compa. So in spite of the name, this is compa. So let's go to compa music real quick. Compa music is pretty much the most popular form of Haitian music. Like, it used to be really popular back in the 80s, and well, now it's popular now. I think compa is doing well right now. But anyway, these are the two types of music that was combined to create what is called Cadence-Lypso. And Cadence-Lypso have had a major role in the it have paved the way for modern Creole music as far as zouk, bouillon music, and soca is concerned.